You know, they're selling y'all wolf tickets, people. You're eating them right up.
Hey, pussy, are you still there?
I back. Trust me, I back.
But I'm not impressed by your performance.
Ele deu nothing. Ele deu nothing. Shut your fucking mouth, ele deu nothing. Ele deu fucking nothing. Not one of you will do nothing.
I'll tell you what, bro. You know, I was out there, I was fighting all the hitters, bro. You ain't fought no hitters.
Come on, guys. It's normal.
I'm not saying I would fight you. I would kill you.
John, do you think I'm just gonna sit there and let you kill me, John? I mean, really?
No, don't be scared, homie.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. The double champ does what the fuck he wants.
I'm gonna beat you into the living death. I mean, maybe that's your job, but where I come from, you know, people like that get slapped.
That's fucking illegal.
Pierre, you just shook up the world. How's that feel?
Hey, I'm not surprised, motherfuckers.
Yeah, this is a simulated death match. And you haven't simulated anybody's death yet.
I said it last year. We're not here just to take part. We're here to take over.
What is the game plan going in against him?
The game plan is you go in there, hit him with some good shit, don't get hit, and come home with a pocket full of cash.
Who the fuck is that guy?
Everybody's on steroids. The whole UFC, everybody.
I'm gonna go home tonight. I'm gonna drink a Coors Light. That's a Coors Light because Bud Light won't pay me nothing.
Do you want to be a fighter? That is my question.
Any of you radio personalities think you want smoke? Call me Mr. Chimney. I want smoke.
Yes. Hipsters here, haters beware. We just had obviously Claressa Shields versus Hanna Gabriels, you know, double feature, double main event with Christina Hammer versus Tori Nelson. Obviously going to delve into that. Obviously going to chop that one up and dissect that, break that one down, give our review. Plus, we have so many topics to get into. It's been what? I'm not even going to try to guess how long it's been since we had a MCR episode. But we're back. We're back. Enjoy that. Hit that like button. Subscribe. Go to patreon.com/Mixed Combat Radio. Support. All donations, all financial support does go towards equipment for the show. We definitely want to get callers up in here. And just get that vibe going. Definitely get a debate going, a dialogue going between myself and you, the listener. But let's get right into it because the fights were, I should say, the fight was amazing. The main event was fantastic. But we're going to save that for the second part because obviously Christina Hammer was first against Tori Nelson. Let me give my very brief opinion about that fight because there's really not that much to talk about, I feel like. You know, most people, I would say, know that, I mean, Christina Hammer won every second of that fight, practically. Won it pretty simply. Kind of looked a little bit basic at times, but, I mean, her fundamental boxing was on point. Her 1-2s, her accuracy, even when she was up close, she would land some good combinations once she got flowing a little bit. Not the fastest combinations when you compare to, let's say, the main event, which we're going to talk about, but accurate shots, fundamental shots, definitely limited offensively in terms of what she can do, both athletically and also just talent or like skill-wise, because she doesn't have a huge repertoire of skill when it comes to the offensive game. And defensively, she's pretty reliant on her footwork. She's pretty reliant on her reach and her height in order to sort of gauge the distance, get in and out of danger, and remain in control basically with, along with that jab and, you know, the 1-2, good uppercut. But that's basically all she had in Tori Nelson, 41 years old. You know, definitely not a prime female boxer, to say the least. Much smaller, little to no reach, you know, in terms of comparative to Christina Hammer. It was completely one-sided. But it was nice seeing Christina Hammer in the U.S., seeing her debut here, seeing what she can do, because she's obviously talented. She's obviously a skilled boxer. And it's definitely going to be interesting to see the style matchup with, obviously, Claressa Shields. Now moving on to the main event. I mean, Claressa Shields I think I don't know what to really make of this fight. First off, this fight was phenomenal. This fight was arguably an instant classic, especially for female fights. There's not many that can match this one in terms of intensity, suspense throughout, shocking drama within, obviously, because the knockdown in the first round, while semi-suspect, and I've watched it a few times now, and I can see if somebody thinks that's a legit knockdown. I personally do not. I think it was more of a push, obviously, with the shot to the shoulder. Claressa Shields overextended with the right hand. But that's what I see with that. But, I mean, both women were throwing heavy shots, mid-combination of each other, ducking and rolling under shots, delivering counter hooks. It was high-level boxing at a fast pace that was also, I mean, almost like painful to watch. The amount of blows that both women were able to land consistently on each other, it was a hell of a fight. So definitely salute to both of them. I think Claressa Shields' power or lack thereof, I don't know. I know there's, me personally, I never thought Claressa Shields has one-punch knockout power. I think she's always been an accumulation boxer, where she's gonna beat you up via 1,000 punches that are all hard, but not any of them are gonna knock you out clean. She doesn't have that like Deontay Wilder or what Daniel Jacobs like one-punch knockout power. She doesn't have that, but she does bring excellent skill, great jab, great fundamentals, great head movement, and just an overall calmness in the ring. I don't know how to describe it, but Claressa Shields, even along the ropes getting hit with shots, she always looked like she felt like she was in control. Like, you can tell that she thought she was in control of the fight throughout. Regardless of how it may have looked, you can tell that's what she was thinking. And I think that's just a good overall characteristic to have as a high-level boxer, obviously. But obviously, the matchup now is Shields versus Hammer. And, they had a little post-fight scuffle. It was kind of humorous. Hammer pushing Shields attacking her team. It was pretty funny. I enjoyed it. I think the actual fight itself is going to be pretty interesting to watch. I don't know if Hammer can keep Shields off of her, because I think Hammer does obviously have defensive flaws, zero head movement. The left hook of Shields, which is one of her favorite shots, plus the right hand over the jab, is going to be used throughout that fight. I think Shields should be obviously the favorite in it. I think Shields should obviously be the easy pick. But Hammer is going to present some stylistic nightmares for Shields, but definitely some puzzling, puzzles? God, that's awful. But it's definitely going to puzzle Claressa Shields in the ring, especially in the first few rounds, I think, because of the reach, because of the height. And I think Hammer, especially with how quick she is in terms of footwork, is definitely going to want to be on the outside, and we're going to see Shields have to be the aggressor. But yeah, I definitely just want to say salute to both Shields and Hanna Gabriels. I thought that was an instant classic, me personally. That was one of the most enjoyable fights I've seen all year. And definitely, I think, obviously, the best fight of tonight. It wasn't that much. There's only two other ones, and they weren't that great. And I think even tomorrow, we have obviously some great fights we're going to get into, but this is probably going to be the fight of the weekend. And it should be. I hope the women get a lion's share of the credit and the exposure this weekend, especially this main event, because they threw on a fucking amazing fight. But yeah, moving on to some more boxing news. And the format of this show going forward, because I know most of you listening are probably coming from, obviously, the Boxing Voice and my time there. It's going to be boxing first, especially in terms of like order of topics. We're going to get through all the boxing topics and then the MMA topics, and that would be consistent throughout, I hope, regardless of maybe breaking news videos, etc. But the show, it's going to be all boxing first, then MMA. I know some of you out there do not like the MMA talk, and it's unfortunate. It is. it's sad. But moving on, because we do have some more fights this weekend, which I want to at least touch on, while not necessarily breaking down, because not all of them, or really any of them, deserve that much breaking down. ESPN Plus has 2 cards tomorrow. One is Roberto Garcia versus Martin Murray, or I should say Martin Murray versus Roberto Garcia. Daniel Dubois versus Tom Little. Anthony Yarde versus Dariusz Sek. And Ohara Davies versus Paul. I'm not even going to try to pronounce that last name. But interesting top 4 fights, especially I love, obviously, whenever the UK showcases all these prospects at once. Makes it very easy as a hardcore fan to keep up to date with all these prospects, as they're all relatively on the same card together. Obviously the Frank Warren guys being all together, but, Sky Sports having all of their guys together. Daniel Dubois, Anthony Yarde, Ohara Davies. Obviously Ohara Davies losing a lot of hype, whatever you want to say, because of the Josh Taylor fight, which obviously we're going to get to Josh Taylor later. But Ohara Davies definitely still a commodity. I think that should be obvious. He still pulls numbers. He still pulls views. At least online he does. He definitely does still online. And Daniel Dubois and Anthony Yarde, both guys have been sensational, I would say, in the last, 12 months, 18 months. And 2 great prospects. Definitely going to see where they go. Daniel Dubois definitely getting a lot of hype because of the rumors with Anthony Joshua. But definitely can't wait to see that on ESPN Plus. Again, the ESPN Plus app, not ESPN regular. And the second ESPN Plus card, Miguel Berchelt versus Jonathan Victor Barros. I don't know the rest of the card, but, it's Miguel Berchelt. And anytime you can watch that guy box, you have to watch. That guy, Berchelt is one of those devastating punchers that brings fundamental boxing behind it. Great jab, great sense of distance. Berchelt is definitely somebody to watch at 130, and I would argue that he is probably the best boxer at 130 pounds right now, especially since Lomachenko is no longer in the division. It's probably Miguel Berchelt. So definitely pay attention to that WBC junior lightweight fight on ESPN Plus. I think Berchelt should obviously win against Jonathan Barros, who is definitely a top 10, 15 opponent. Berchelt just is too good. I think we're probably going to see a knockout within 6 to 8 rounds, maybe 6 to 9 rounds pushing it. But I don't think it goes any farther than that. I think Berchelt's too good. Though it has been a while since we've seen him. So it's definitely going to be interesting, I should say. Seeing him back again, because I feel like it's been a while since we've seen Miguel Berchelt, and he's too good of a talent to not be seen on a regular basis. ESPN2, interesting. ESPN having a lot of fights tomorrow, actually pretty much all of them, except for obviously the biggest one. Really, ESPN Plus, you get all these fights, but not the most important fight tomorrow. That's for you. That's for you, ESPN. I didn't want to do that, but you made me do it. ESPN2 featuring Vegil Ortiz Jr. versus Juan Salgado. I know these guys very vaguely, so to speak. I've seen Ortiz Jr. fight a few times. I like him. I'm not that impressed, though. But just definitely something to watch. If you don't have the ESPN Plus app, there's at least some boxing for you tomorrow. If you don't want to pay for that, you want to wait for maybe it to be on YouTube literally an hour later, you could do that. And the biggest fight tomorrow, which, God, how does it not have US TV rights? That is so frustrating. Victor Postol versus Josh Taylor, which I want to... Hold on. First off, that's obviously for the fight. And also, Victor Postol, back, from the dead. Good to see him. I thought Terrence Crawford, ring endowed him, so to speak, Namajunes, we haven't heard from Ringendown forever. We didn't hear from Postol for a fucking year and a half. And all of a sudden, the Josh Taylor fight comes out of nowhere. Love the fight. And I think the winner does go on into the World Boxing Super Series. Definitely something to pay attention to. It's a WBC junior welterweight eliminator. Josh Taylor should win this. I think he's just overall a better boxer. I think he's more diverse in what he brings to the table. His punch selection's way more varied. He is just leaps and bounds a better boxer than a Victor Postol. Victor Postol is a Christina Hammer of his respective division. basically meaning that he only has a 1-2 and maybe one other punch behind it. No head movement, some good footwork, and he's tall and rangy. That is it. And if you're able to use those very basic tools to your advantage, you can go pretty far in boxing, actually, depending on what your weight is at and if you're that much taller than your opponents, which Victor Postal is. But Josh Taylor, not that small himself, definitely a guy that's probably going to move up to 147, if not maybe 154 when all is said and done. Taylor should win this handily. The fact that Victor Postal's been out that long. Oh, Rob, obviously Rob from TVV and UK Robbie Hearns saying World Boxing Super Series on DAZN. Eddie confirmed. First off, salute to Eddie for getting that, or DAZN. I mean Eddie and DAZN. So salute. Definitely expected, but it's good that they got that up because I'm assuming, I don't know for sure, but I'm assuming ESPN Plus probably made some last minute bids for DAZN, especially with how much money they're throwing in it with UFC content and boxing content and other sporting content like Kobe. Like they're throwing a bunch of money in this app. I wouldn't be surprised if there was a last minute offer, so to speak. But maybe DAZN coming from more of a European ties. World Boxing Super Series have more European ties. Maybe there's a connection there. But at least salute to DAZN. Definitely making it much more conceivable to pay that alleged $20 per month for DAZN. God. I'm not even going to really address that. But yeah, Josh Taylor, I think he's going to win decision. I think Victor Postal is tough enough and at least talented enough to not get finished. I don't think Taylor has like this unbelievable power. So I definitely think Taylor should win this hands down. Probably a wide decision, 8-4, 9-3, maybe even like a 10-2. Like I don't see it being really 7-5 and being a competitive fight. I just don't. Not really in my opinion. But yes, that is the fights of the weekend. Not a lot in terms of boxing. Obviously, we have a UFC card we're going to get into in the later half of the show, the MMA portion of the show. Rob in the chat saying Taylor by TKO. Do you think he's going to get knocked down, or is it more like a corner stoppage, Rob? Like, is it going to be like the ref raving it off because he's really hurt and he's going to save Postal? Or, what is Mike saying? You got Postal, dog.
Stay in your lane.
Come on, Mike. Come on. What are you thinking here, Mike? What are you thinking?
Stay in your lane.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to do that twice, actually. My bad. But, I mean, Mike, Postal's been out for what? 2 years? And his best win is a Lucas Matisse, which I will definitely credit. But look at what Lucas Matisse is at this point. Like, come on. I think it's anytime a fighter comes back off of over a year layoff and fights a top 10, top 15 opponent, that is challenging. I definitely think Taylor is just, to use your word in the chat, levels above Postal at this point, especially. Wawa, great name, saying the Joe Budden podcast coming to LA. I know that there are out of general admission tickets, and all they have is the meet and greet ones, which are over $100. Yeah, I ain't paying $100 to see the Joe Budden podcast. I get it every week for free. I'm good. But on to the boxing news of the week. Before we get into the MMA topics, MMA breakdown, Jamie Munguia versus Liam Smith is official and finalized for July 21st on HBO at the Hard Rock Hotel Casino in Las Vegas. Interesting that's HBO Boxing After Dark. Different budget, obviously, for a Boxing After Dark or a World Championship Boxing card. That's why it's a little bit on the cheap side, so to speak. But, yeah, I mean, I love this fight. I think it was the obvious fight to make, obviously, within the sanctioned body because Smith has been lined up for a while. But also just in terms of the overall landscape of the division, Jamie Munguia after a Saddam Ali win should fight a Liam Smith guy. Like, I wouldn't want Munguia to be thrown in there with a Jarrett Hurd or Esmelin de Lara or Jamel Charlo. I wouldn't like that. I think Munguia would not succeed in those fights, and just like with anyone, like you need to work your way up. You know, even though you got a belt off Saddam Ali, who got a belt off Miguel Cotto, who was fucking old as shit and had one arm. Like, I'm sorry here, like Munguia, like go. I want you to go fight Liam Smith. Because think about it, if Munguia goes out there and whoops Liam Smith better than Canelo did, something to take note. It is. It's a good barometer fight. Liam Smith is still a top 10 junior middleweight, right? Like, I would say that. Everyone in the chat, I actually want your opinion on this. Is Liam Smith the top 10 junior middleweight right now? I'm very curious about that opinion from you guys. But yeah, Machado as well fighting on that card. I really don't care about Machado. I'll be completely honest. Pacquiao continues to reject talk of Matisse event issues. Look, I have no idea what to think of this, to be honest, because I've heard so many things back and forth. This fight's in Malaysia. Like, I don't even know how we're going to watch this one. I think it's going to be on ESPN, but, you know, Pacquiao saying everyone's on board, blah, blah, blah. Like, everything's fine. Like, I'd have no idea. I have no idea what's happening here. I think we're very close to a split between Bob Arum and Manny Pacquiao, in my opinion. I don't know what it is that has led to this, but for the last year, all we've been hearing is Pacquiao is getting rid of, obviously, Freddie Roach, which he did, and Bob Arum. He got rid of one of them. He hasn't got rid of the other yet. And we all know Bob Arum is a great promoter when it comes to making solid contracts. Maya in the chat. What up, Maya? What else? Jamil, Mike saying no. That Liam Smith's not top 10. Rob saying yes. Igloo saying Liam Smith is not a bellwether. I don't know what that is, Igloo. And you're from Miami, dog. I don't know who are you pretending to be here? Come on. Curtis Cooper saying Tony Harrison greater than Liam Smith. But Tony, is it possible that Tony Harrison and Liam Smith are both top 10 junior middleweights? Like, just to actually take it back to that before we head on to Pacquiao and all that news. Like, let me look on Boxer really fast. Hold on. I'm actually very curious about this, about what the division looks like, because I think you can throw Liam Smith in the top 10 still to this day. Mike saying Tony Harrison would wash him. That's completely possible. I don't disagree with you there. But it's still possible that both guys are also junior middleweights. Or top 10 junior middleweights, I should say. Okay, BoxRec, the loyal BoxRec we have right here. We have Jarrett Hurd, Esmelani Laura, Jamel Charlo, Jamie Munguia, Kell Brook, J-Rock. How the fuck is Amir Khan in the top 10? God, what are you doing, BoxRec? Come on. They have Liam Smith at number 8. Number 9, Brian Castano. Number 10, Sam Egginton. Wow, this is so bad. They have Carlos Adames at 4. He's not even in that division. Wow, Mike saying Anthony Fowler would beat Liam right now. He's saying Rob knows that. Yo, and Rob is such a fucking Anthony Fowler stan. I love it. Oh, it's so good. That is hilarious. That is too good. I think you can throw Liam Smith in the top 10 and make it reasonable and not laugh at it. I could be wrong, but hey, this is boxing. It's everyone's opinion. Maya saying Matt Stats for life. Yes, Matt Stats will always live on. They're 82.3% right. That's what B. Pauly says. But yeah, back to Pacquiao, you know, because shit, it's Pacquiao. Like, come on. Like, we have to talk about him. What do you guys think in the chat? And let me know in the comment section if you're listening to this on the playback. Are we getting this Pacquiao-Lucas Matisse fight, A? And B, are we going to see a split promotionally between Manny Pacquiao and Bob Arum within the next 12 months? I'm very curious about that. While I was saying, K9 Bun Ridge. Yeah, that list was insane, man. Sam Egginton was in the top 10. Oh, that's too good. That is too great. Shout out to the UK Hour. R.I.P. Box Nation, Lou DiBella reached deal to air Broadway boxing cards. I think that's great because obviously, and Rob and others, let me know in the chat, remind me. There's been either rumors or it's confirmed that Frank Warren is no longer going to be on Box Nation. So, I mean, if that's a rumor, it's a rumor. Allegedly, I'll throw that out there just for legal purposes. But if that happens, where Frank Warren and all of his stable officially leave Box Nation, which they've been flirting with a while with BT Sports, yeah, you're gonna need some more content for your Box Nation. Maya saying, "Don't think we're getting the fight." Damn, that's so sad. So sad. A lot of people saying, like, I honestly don't care about Pac Matisse. I kind of agree that, like, I think because of the geolocation of it, that it's so isolated geographically to Asia and Southeast Asia specifically. It's just a disconnect for us. Same with like the Brandon Rios fight. Like that was a disconnect for a lot of people in the U.S. market as being Manny Pacquiao fight fans, because that was over in China. It was in a different time zone. Like it was handled differently. I don't know. It's definitely gonna be interesting to see what is happening with Manny Pacquiao. But anyways, digressing to Box Nation and all that stuff. Rob confirming all Warren cards going to BT Sports. Yes. And they've been flirting with that forever. So Box Nation, is this the? I mean, no offense here to Lou DiBella, but even with the deal to air Broadway boxing cards, Box Nation, are you like officially like dead in the water? Like, is it time? It's okay. It's okay. Like I'm like, should we start putting it on the clock? Like, how much longer does Box Nation stay around? If not, I mean, Frank Warren is fucking with it. Like, and I don't know the market well enough, so please, Rob and others in the chat, let me know what's up. Oscar Martinez, what's up, man? Haven't seen you in a bit. Igloo saying, Matisse is garbage, never won a decent fight at 147. That's absolutely true. I wouldn't say he's garbage, like, overall. I get what you're talking about, Igloo, but, I mean, especially the never won a decent fight at 147. Absolutely true. His run was at 140, so... Rob saying they get the U.S. cards. But not all of them, from my knowledge, right? They pay per card, from what I'm aware of. It's not like Oscar has a Box Nation deal, or Tom Loeffler, or fucking PBC. Like, I don't think any of them have a deal with Box Nation, so to speak. Like, they pay per event. And then, like, sometimes Sky Sports will have it, right? Am I wrong here? Loma, Canelo, Triple G was on Box Nation. Interesting. But again, they have to pay for the rights, the UK distribution rights to this event, right? They have predominantly got their money through Frank Warren cards, domestically at least. Like in terms of the margin for pure income, so to speak, for gross income, I should say, net income. It's probably going to be higher in your UK Frank Warren cards than obviously just paying for the distribution rights to these big fights. I could be wrong. Igloo saying, need to get your Super Chat going. Well, I need to reach 1,000 subscribers before I get Super Chat, before I can monetize, all of those stuff. So, tell a friend and tell a friend. Subscribe to the channel. Yes. Thank you. Make sure you hit that like button too. Go to patreon.com/mixedcombatradio. But yes, going back to... UK rights. BT Sports getting Frank Warren is a big win for them. BT Sports, from my knowledge, still has the UFC. They got it up. They got the combat sports market now almost locked and centered to really compete with a Sky Sports and Eddie Hearn, because now they're attached to BT Sports, which has UFC content and now Frank Warren content. The return of Tyson Fury. It's definitely gonna be interesting to see. My guy, get you the Cash App. Yes. Shout out to Joe Budden, man. No, I mean, I do have PayPal. You could just PayPal me. I forget what email it's attached to. I will set up a new PayPal with the email below, right here, tomorrow. So tomorrow, let's say tomorrow at noon. No, I'm busy tomorrow at noon. At Sunday. By Sunday, this email, mixcombatradio@gmail.com, should have a PayPal attached to it. Maya saying, Mike is trying to help you out, man. Let's get a burner phone and use it for business. Yes. Yo, get the old sidekick out, man. That's what I need. Moving on to the next piece of news. David Benavidez versus Anthony Dirrell. Deal is reached. I'm shocked that this fight came out of nowhere. And also, who the hell is promoting David Benavidez? Now, I believe I heard that he gave back his signing bonus to Top Rank, and now he's what am I gonna say? But now he's back with Samson's Boxing. I don't know. Cash App way simpler. I'll check it out, Mike. I'll definitely check it out. But yeah. Digressing to what I was saying. David Benavidez versus Anthony Dirrell. Love the fight. I think it's unfortunately a little bit too, not late, to where I really don't think Anthony Dirrell has a chance in the fight. But I definitely think it's going to be a competitive, fun fight. It's arguably the best opponent David Benavidez has fought to date. I'm highly intrigued by it stylistically. And also, David Benavidez is somebody to watch. He is somebody that is definitely a up-and-coming champion to where he could really run the division for a bit. Oh, wow, I was showing you the piece of news we're going to go to later. My bad. Mike saying, how Dirrell get a shot? I have no idea. You know the sanctioned bodies, Mike. Come on. I mean, shit is what it is. But shout out to that fight being made, and shout out to somehow it slipping under everyone's nose that it was being negotiated and there was a purse bid. I don't think anyone was really talking about it or knew it. Moving on to the next piece of news. Wanaki versus Charles Martin. Yes! The return. I walk this earth like a god. Yes. I love it. I love the fact that we have Charles Martin back. And I love this fight. Wanaki is one of those guys, if Charles Martin is any decent boxer, he should beat Wanaki. But if Wanaki is good, he should style on Martin. It's one of those where it's a great barometer for both guys. I love it. Also, definitely it being on the card for Garcia Porter. I love that as well. I think it's a great co-main event or maybe a third fight down. Mike saying, really, Charles Martin? Man, why are you hating on Charles Martin? He walks the earth like a god, okay? But I think it's just a good matchup. Similar to how, Joseph Parker versus Dylan White. We know neither of those guys is going to be the best heavyweight in the world. But the matchup itself is really intriguing. I think it's going to equal a fun fight. Same with the main event of the card, allegedly, is Garcia Porter. Does anyone think Danny Garcia or Sean Porter is going to be the best welterweight on the planet? Does anyone here think that? Nope. It's going to be Spencer Crawford and maybe a Thurman coming back after he's done playing the flute in Japan. Okay? But we like these fights. When they're competitive, fun fights, I like it. I like it a lot. Rob saying more rumors, Wanaki with Eddie. No, Wanaki's with Salida Promotions. Come on, fam. Wanaki and Joe Miller are with Dimitri Salida. Salida Promotions also, I think they're promoting Christina Hammer, because they were obviously co-promoting this tonight's card on Showtime. But yeah, shout out to Dimitri Salida. Interesting guy. And a young guy in the sport, young promoter. Definitely something to watch. Smoking weed on Periscope like a god. Yes, Mike, that's great. Curtis saying, Dirrell stopped Truax. When focused, he's a challenge for anybody at 168. Absolutely agree with that. And plus, he is the better Dirrell brother. I think, not definitively, but he is. He is. He's the tougher one, at least. By far the tougher one. But yeah, I'm now going to say this right now, Rob. we are moving on to the MMA portion of the show. So, I know, Rob, you might be like, man, I don't want to listen to MMA. This is your time to depart. If you don't want to listen to any more MMA talk, it's okay. I understand. You can just move on. I forgive you, Rob. But it's kind of a mixed topic. Because shout out to the ESPYs. If you don't know what that is, that's ESPN's awards. And for Fighter of the Year, George St. Pierre, Rose Namajunes, Vasyl Lomachenko, and Terence Crawford all nominated for an ESPY. Ultra interesting to note, especially heading into 2019 when the ESPN deal takes effect for the UFC. All of these fighters are quote-unquote ESPN fighters. Just interesting, I think. Interesting to at least, make note that, hey, is the ESPN Awards, unbiased, etc. Like, those are questions we can start asking now because Igloo saying boxing done for the rest of the show, or will there be more boxing later? This would be the transition topic. And it's naturally a transition because we have 2 MMA fighters and 2 boxers mentioned. It's going to be the transition after this topic. We're going to move on to MMA, and this would be, sort of you guys' no. Iron Sal, Ron the Mastermind.
You fucking crazy, man.
Whoa. Whoa, that was completely an accident. God, sorry. The trigger finger, man. Sorry. But good to see you guys. Good to see you. Rob. Oh, that's so good, man. That was hilarious. That's hilarious, Rob. Hold on. Where is it?
That's actually hilarious.
Yeah, that was good, Rob. That was a good one. The one-line king, man, always. But yes, the ESPN Awards, George St. Pierre, Rose Namajunes, Thug Rose, Vasyl Lomachenko, Terence Crawford, all nominated. Who's going to win? Definitely let me know in the comments below, in the live chat, what you think. I think this is definitely going to be a tight race because I think Lomachenko, Terence Crawford being at this point ESPN fighters, having all their fights being in the last 12 months or so, being ESPN fights, it's going to be interesting to see which one gets it, especially if it's one of them. And I think it's going to be one of them. Last year was Demetrius Johnson for the UFC. I think they're going to go with the boxer this year. I think it's going to be Lomachenko. And I know that might sound a little bit crazy, but I think that's what we're going to get. I think we're going to get a Lomachenko win. One, he's been hyped, I think, the most on ESPN. His Ringendow win was highly watched on ESPN. The Jeff Horn win for Terence Crawford was on ESPN+. I don't know. Ron saying Thug Rose was dope. No, I mean, let's be honest. George St. Pierre, coming from a 4-year layoff, moving up 15 pounds, fighting Michael Bisping. Whatever you want to think about Michael Bisping as a champion, put that to the side. George St. Pierre coming back from 4-year layoff, gaining 15 pounds, and beating him the way he did. Finishing Michael Bisping. And again, this is George St. Pierre, the guy that was the Mayweather, so to speak, of MMA in terms of putting on boring fights that were defensively, forward and sound. That was George. And came back from 4 years, went up to middleweight, became one of 4 people to be a 2-division champion in the UFC. George has a claim to it. He does. Thug Rose, obviously the first-round knockout of Rose, not Rose, obviously she's Rose. Joanna Jacek is impressive. I don't know if the follow-up win is impressive enough, and I also think it's very hard when you're fighting the same person twice in 1 year for that to be your year. Unless you were like a Chris Weidman that beat Anderson Silva twice. And even then, that was obviously different because of the way that second fight went with the leg break. But again, I think it's one of those where I think Loma's going to get it. I think the network backing of him is just too much. I really think that's what we're going to have here. Curtis Cooper saying Rungs VI should have been on the list for finishing, obviously, Roman Gonzalez twice. Not finishing him, but beating him twice. I can see that. I just think it's going to be very hard for people that aren't ESPN fighters to get on this list going forward, especially now that they have tons of boxing content live, tons of UFC content going live in 2019. I think we're going to get Loma or Terrence Crawford. And I think it's going to be Loma just because it seems ESPN is pushing Loma more than Crawford. I think for once, not for once, but I mean, come on, awards, how often are they really like merit-based? You know, come on. It's a popularity contest at the end of the day. So I think it's going to be Loma, but definitely something to pay attention to because A, all ESPN fighters, and B, is it going to be, you know, boxing, is it going to be MMA? I think it's a really good field this year. And definitely going to be interesting to see if they pick between the two ESPN boxers because that really will show which one they're favoring. Something to be interesting. Interesting to watch and interesting to, you know, just view and stay up to date on. Gergard Mousasi. Man, I just want to say this before I finish this title, even though you're reading it right now. This came out of left field for me. I didn't expect them to make this. And I absolutely love this fight. So salute to both guys for making this because this is incredible. If there is two people in MMA that are serial killers without actually like killing people, it is these two gentlemen right here. Gergard Mousasi, Rory MacDonald, to fight for the middleweight championship for Bellator. Absolutely probably the best fight that can be made in MMA outside the UFC. I cannot wait to watch this. I think it's going to be a tough fight for Rory MacDonald. Gergard Mousasi used to fight at freaking heavyweight and light heavyweight. Like, Gergard Mousasi is an extremely tough fight. I think he's a great counter wrestler. His kickboxing game is on such a high level. Like, I think Rory MacDonald is going to completely struggle in this fight, especially since he really hasn't been great as of late. Neither has Gergard Mousasi, I'll give you that. But I think we're going to see Rory get beat up in a 5-rounder, and it's going to be a hell of a fight. Mike Grosson, my favorite UFC fighter, is Israel Adesanya. I can definitely, you know, I can appreciate that. He's not my favorite, but he's definitely somebody that he's one of my favorites to watch right now. Definitely get that. Mike saying Rory got that. Ron, Fighter IQ, check out his channel as well. Saying Rory's a dog. You definitely, like, this is going to be, I think it's going to be a 5-round war. But Gergard Mousasi should win this. And he should win this kind of handily, in my opinion. But great fight. Definitely cannot wait for that one. Shout out to more Bellator news. Lyota Machida signing to Bellator. Yeah, I know. Mike Santa hold that win over Taiwan in high regards. No, you're right. I mean, I definitely, especially the way he beat Woodley. Like, the way he beat Woodley was so impressive. I think I can see that. But I think it's one of those things where, like, people age. Like, the fighter that fought Woodley that year is a very different fighter than the fought, you know, Stephen Thompson. And did arm and arm rolls over and over and over again and failed. Like, I don't know. It's definitely going to be very interesting to see what they do. But Lyota Machida, coming off the... did he come off the win? No, who did he beat? Yeah, it wasn't the win against Vitor Belfort, right? God, am I getting it wrong? Yeah. He beat Vitor Belfort highlight reel fashion, second round front kick. Potential fight, knockout of the year. But yeah, I definitely think that this is a huge loss for the UFC. He is a guy that can always pull in ratings, always sell out a Brazilian arena or theater. A drawing power that is lost. And again, another fading veteran and legend and arguably Hall of Famer that Bellator has picked up. Definitely going to be interesting to see where he goes, who he fights, etc. I wouldn't be surprised if he maybe fights a winner of Gergard Mousasi, Rory MacDonald. I can definitely see that. Maybe not his first fight, obviously. They're going to give him a soft touch in his first fight in Bellator. But yeah, I definitely love the signing for Bellator, especially off of that highlight reel knockout of the year performance that he put on against Vitor Belfort. I think it's a huge loss for them. It's unfortunate. And quick shout outs to PFL2, which was yesterday. Will Brooks picked up a win against Luis Firmino. That was a win that he needed. Will Brooks was on a really bad losing streak in the UFC. They let him go. You know, I'm not surprised that, you know, he really needed to go to the regional scene again, so to speak, and get that confidence back. Hopefully he can make it back. Always been a Will Brooks fan. Mike and Rob in the chat going at it about how Rob should be an MMA fan. I agree. Rob should be an MMA fan. Daly, Page, Till, Bisping, ton of UK names. But anyways, gonna play Kayla Harrison, MMA debut, 2-time gold medalist in judo. To put it in perspective for some casuals, Ronda Rousey was a 1-time bronze medalist in the Olympics. Just to put in comparison, Kayla Harrison winning via armbar.
She's not ball, and here's the roll, and here's the armbar attempt.
And
this is very good at pulling this out.
Hammer fist on the gut.
Nice job, calm, composed, working it.
Armbar done. Done. So yep. Shout out to Kayla Harrison. Just wanted to play that very fast and just salute to her on a night of women's boxing. Salute to another female athlete, a female Olympic, another, 2-time gold medalist in the Olympics. Let's put that in juxtapositions for a second, you know. We had back-to-back nights of female combat sport athletes who came from the Olympics and won 2 gold medals each. I'm just saying, just for, one of those, odd fun facts of the day. Very fascinating to, see how both sports are sort of, pushing the women's sports. Definitely appreciative of that because coming from the gym and knowing women that have been boxing, it's a very, very hard industry, hard sport to get in and make money. And last piece of news before we head on out of here. Wanderlei Silva saying he's going to fight Rampage Jackson in September. This is it, guys. This is it. This is going to be the funeral. It's going to be the end of Wanderlei Silva. Rampage Jackson in his geriatric state is nowhere near as bad as Wanderlei Silva. Why are they making this fight? Why? God, Bellator. Even though I gave Bellator some props for the Gergard Mousasi and Rory MacDonald fight, and obviously the Lyota Machida signing, this is such a bad matchup in terms of the respective fighters' own health. But it's going to do great ratings, so I see why they did it. It is what it is. But yeah, that's about it, guys. That's about it. It's been a good one. Just want to say quickly shout out to Mike, Ron, Rob, Fugatti, Curtis, Maya, who else? Igloo, Iron Sal. I said Curtis, right? Oscar Martinez. Who else? There's some other people in here, I feel like. Is that it? Yeah, there's some other people like Jamil, Wawa, all you guys. Thank you very much for tuning in to... Man, it's been too long. It's been too long with this show, man. So I'm just glad to be back. I'm glad to be, in the seat. And, behind the mic again. Hipsters here. Haters beware. Hit that like button. Subscribe. Ron saying, ooh, that beat, though. Yo, I made that beat way back in the day, man. I made this beat when I was in high school. Salute, man. Salute to those days, man. The old days. But, Javier Dudley saying respect. What up? But yes, I'm Matt the Hipster Hunter. You can find me at Matt Hunter MCR on Instagram, Twitter, Mixed Combat Radio on all platforms. Yeah, it's been a good one. Matt, your son playing piano? Fuck you, Rob. Fuck you.
Stay in your lane.
Get out of here, Rob. Get out of here. I'm telling you. But yes, and still go over and support TBV. I will as well. That was a good ride. Been a hell of a ride over there. on to bigger and better things. See y'all later. Peace.